So, you ever set one of those huge, life-changing goals only to find yourself giving up like a few weeks later? Yeah, we've all been there. We get it in our heads that we need these massive, earth-shattering changes to see any real results. But what if I told you the secret to transformation isn't about giant leaps at all? What if it's about tiny, almost invisible steps? Well, that's the big, powerful idea behind James Clear's Atomic Habits. And today, we're going to unpack the framework that makes that kind of real, lasting change actually possible. Okay, let me ask you something. I want you to really think about this for a second. What if you could get this, 37 times better at something in just 1 year? Sounds crazy, right? Kind of like a gimmick you'd hear on a late night infomercial. But here's the thing, it's not magic. It's just math. Just take a look at this graph. This visualizes the absolutely incredible power of compounding. See that upward curve? That's what happens when you get just 1% better each day. It seems like nothing at first, right? But that tiny daily improvement, it just snowballs. And after a year, boom, you're almost 38 times better. But, and this is crucial, the reverse is also true. Look at that downward line. Getting just 1% worse each day, it basically brings you down to zero. This shows that your small daily habits, they don't just add up, they compound, for better or for worse. And that, my friends, is the entire game. And this really gets to the heart of what James Clear is talking about. You know how we get totally overwhelmed by our huge goals? It's like staring at a mountain and thinking, I have to climb that whole thing. Well, his solution is simple. Forget the summit. Just focus on putting your shoes on. The key isn't some grand gesture. It's the tiny atomic action. It's not about achieving the goal right now. It's about making the act of starting so ridiculously easy that you just can't say no. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the power of 1%. Then we'll jump into the 4 laws. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And to wrap up, we'll look at the secret to making these results last. Let's do it. All right, part 1. The power of 1%. The fundamentals. Let's dive right in. The first and honestly the most important mindset shift you have to make is this. Stop focusing on goals. Seriously, start focusing on your systems. And I'm telling you, this one simple change is an absolute game changer. Look, we all have goals, right? Things like win the championship or lose 20 pounds. But goals are just the destination on the map. Your system, that's the car that actually gets you there. Think about it like this. Cleaning your messy room, that achieves a goal. The room is clean. For now. But it's just a temporary fix. If your system is to just drop your clothes on the floor every night, guess what? The room's going to be messy again tomorrow. A good system solves the problem for good. So if you feel like you're struggling to change, listen up. The problem isn't you, it's your system. This next quote, man, this is the core of the entire book. Let this really sink in for a second. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Whoa, think about it. Winners and losers, a lot of the time, they have the exact same goals. Every single athlete at the Olympics wants to win a gold medal, right? The goal isn't what separates them. What does separate them is their system. It's their commitment to that process of continuous, tiny improvements, day in, day out. That's what carries you forward when your motivation, and trust me it will, inevitably disappears. So, okay, how do we actually build these powerful systems? Well, Clear breaks it down into these 3 layers. See, most of us try to change from the outside in. We focus on the outcome, losing weight. But real lasting change, that happens from the inside out. It starts with your identity. The goal isn't just to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. The goal isn't to write a book, it's to become a writer. Every single time you lace up your shoes or open up a blank page, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. It's so powerful when you think of it that way. Okay, let's get practical. Time for law number 1. Make it obvious. See, every habit you have starts with a trigger, what James Clear calls a cue. It's basically the little signal that tells your brain, hey, time to do that thing. So if you want to build a good habit, you have to make that starting signal, that cue, as obvious and unmissable as you possibly can. And here's a brilliant way to do this. It's a technique called habit stacking. You literally just piggyback a new habit onto one you already do without even thinking about it. The formula is super simple. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. So for instance, let's say you already make coffee every single morning. That's a solid, locked-in habit. So you just stack the new one on top. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Boom! You're using your existing routine as the trigger for the new one. It's so simple, but it is incredibly effective. So what about breaking a bad habit? Well, you just flip the law completely on its head. Make it invisible. If you want to stop eating so much junk food, don't just rely on willpower to ignore the cookies sitting on the counter. That's a losing battle. Get them out of sight, hide them, or even better, just don't buy them in the first place. Look, this isn't about having some kind of superhuman self-control. It's about being smart and designing an environment where you don't even need self-control. All right, law number 2, make it attractive. So you've got your obvious cue. Now you need to make the habit itself appealing. Here's a cool thing about our brains. They release dopamine, that feel-good chemical, not just when we experience pleasure, but when we anticipate it. It's the craving that drives us. So it's pretty simple. The more attractive we can make a habit, the more motivated we're going to be to actually do it. And a really powerful way to do this is a strategy called temptation bundling. This is a great little life hack. You just link something you need to do with something you genuinely want to do. So let's say you're obsessed with a certain podcast, but you kind of hate exercising. You make a new rule for yourself. I am only allowed to listen to that podcast while I'm on the treadmill. All of a sudden, going to the gym becomes way more attractive because it's now tied to something you're actually craving. And hey, never underestimate the power of your tribe. Seriously, one of the best ways to make a habit attractive is to join a culture where that habit is just normal. If all your friends are constantly reading and talking about books, you're going to feel way more inclined to pick one up yourself. And to break a bad habit, again, you flip it. Make it unattractive. Reframe your whole mindset around it. So instead of thinking, I can't have that cigarette, you think, I get to protect my lungs. I get to have more energy. See the difference? You're not depriving yourself, you're empowering yourself. Okay, moving on to law number 3, make it easy. This one's all about the action itself. Let's be honest, as humans, we are fundamentally wired to take the path of least resistance. It's like a law of physics for people. We will almost always gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. So if we want to build good habits, we have to lean into that. We have to make them as frictionless and as effortless as possible. And this next one, this might just be the most powerful rule in the entire book. It's the 2-minute rule. The rule is this: when you start a new habit, it has to take less than 2 minutes to do. That's it. So read every day becomes read 1 page. Go for a run becomes put on my running shoes. You see, the goal isn't to get an amazing workout or finish a chapter. The goal is just to master the art of showing up. You're creating this tiny little gateway habit that's so easy it's almost impossible to say no to. And the beautiful thing is, once you've started, momentum usually takes care of the rest. So, for good habits, your job is to decrease the friction. Want to work out first thing in the morning? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Put them right by your bed. Remove every single obstacle between you and the habit. And to break a bad habit, you do the exact opposite. You increase the friction. If you're wasting too much time mindlessly scrolling on your phone, delete the social media apps. Make yourself log in through a clunky web browser every time. Just by adding a few extra steps, you give that better version of yourself a fighting chance to step in and say, nah, not right now. And that brings us to the final piece of this whole puzzle, law number 4, make it satisfying. This is the part that closes the loop and really makes a habit stick. The ending of the habit, the part right after you do it, has to feel good. This is all about getting that immediate reward. This right here gets to the very heart of why we struggle so much with habits. The cardinal rule of behavior change is this: what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. And here's the problem. The reward for a good habit, like going to the gym, is way off in the future. But the reward for a bad habit, like eating a donut, it's right now, and it's delicious. So we have to find a way to bring that reward into the present. Give yourself a small, immediate win, track your habit in a journal, and get that little hit of satisfaction from checking the box. And please live by this rule: never miss twice. Missing 1 day? That's an accident. It happens. Missing 2 days in a row? That's the start of a new bad habit. So it's pretty simple. For good habits, you need to add some immediate pleasure. For bad habits, you need to add some immediate pain. You have to make it unsatisfying. See, the long-term cost of a bad habit is so easy for our brains to just ignore, so you have to bring that cost right into the present. This is where having an accountability partner can be a total game changer. Make a pact with a friend. If you skip a workout, you have to Venmo them $20. An immediate, kind of painful consequence like that is an incredibly powerful motivator. Okay, we're on to the secret to lasting results, the advanced tactics. So you've put the 4 laws into practice, you're building some good habits. Awesome. But how do you stay motivated for the long haul? How do you keep making progress once all the newness and excitement wears off? Well, this final section is all about playing the long game. Well, the key is something that James Clear calls the Goldilocks rule. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We humans experience peak motivation when we're working on tasks that are right on the edge of our current abilities. If a task is too easy, you get bored. If it's way too hard, you get frustrated and give up. The real secret to long-term success is learning to live in that just right zone of difficulty, constantly stretching yourself just a little bit further. When you do that, progress itself becomes the ultimate reward. And that really brings us full circle, right back to where we started. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Success isn't some big one-time event. It's not a finish line you dramatically cross. It's the sum of your daily choices. It's the product of your tiny habits compounding over and over, day after day, year after year. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question to really think about. Remember that your results today, they're just a lagging measure of your habits from the past. What really, truly matters is the direction you're heading right now. So ask yourself, and be honest, where will your current habits take you in 10 years? Because every tiny choice you make today is casting a vote for the person you're going to become. The whole journey, it just starts with one, a single atomic habit.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content like this.